let's talk about this. I don't want to bury the lead. There's a lot to talk about tonight. Actually, it was actually a really big day for news, and some other big news. MetaMask came out with some really amazing big news, but of course, it's gotten completely overshadowed because Bored Ape has the hype of the moment. But we don't want to lose that. We don't want to lose sight of the importance of what MetaMask is doing as well. So I'll do my best to cover that. But let's see what we have. Let's pop over to the screen. So I'm going to start here. This came out about 1 p.m. Eastern time today. I guess it was yesterday. This was yesterday. So here's what happened yesterday. There was a leak of Bored Ape's pitch deck, the pitch deck that they pitched Andreessen Horowitz, which is one of the top venture firms in the world, and it divulged a whole bunch of stuff, and we're gonna go through that, and that has directly led to what's happening today. So Bored Ape startup plans virtual land sales, ApeCoin token to kickstart metaverse gaming project. Quick take. Yuga Labs is projecting net revenue of $455 million this year, chiefly through virtual land sales that will kick off this month. The plans, including its own ApeCoin token, were outlined in a pitch deck obtained by The Block, which had been circulated to investors. Now, I want to give props to The Block because, one, they're on top of it, and two, The Block actually did a review of adult fantasy. So they're awesome. They're a great research outfit. They get a lot of really good stuff. If you want to learn more about adult fantasy, you can go ahead. There'll be some links in the description. You can go here on the banner. You can say adultfantasy.io. We have an awesome Discord. Hop in. I'll put that away there. So yeah, The Block is awesome. It says Yuga Labs, the business behind the heavily hyped Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT collection, is hoping to raise hundreds of millions of dollars by selling off virtual plots of land. A pitch deck obtained by The Block outlines projections for the sales, as well as information about sweeping new metaverse initiatives, Yuga's planned token, and key financial metrics. According to the document, Yuga made a cool $127 million in net revenue last year, a figure it projects will reach $455 million this year, chiefly through proceeds from the virtual land sales. Now, I can't stress how insane that is. There are plenty of startups and companies that have raised $455 million. The number is not what's crazy, although the number is crazy. What is crazy is that this company did not exist this time last year, right? When was their launch? Wasn't their launch in June? Do you guys remember when their launch was? I think it was in June. I could be wrong. But it was not in March. So you're talking about 127 million net in less than a year, and 455 million projected this year. That's insane. It must be one of the fastest growing startups to ever exist. It has to be. I know there's a company called ClickFunnels in digital marketing that hit 100 million. I think it was 100 million in less than 3 years. Was it, or was it half a billion in 3 years? They hold the record for the fastest growing startup, self-funded startup. I don't know. I think Yuga just beat it. I think it blew it out of the water. It's insane. Again, the hype cycle is really strong. The deck, which was last updated in February, had been circulated to investors as part of an ongoing fundraising process. Yuga is looking to raise fresh funds at a valuation of as much as $5 billion, which is also insane, according to a report last month. So if they're looking for a valuation of as much as $5 billion, they must be raising like $500 million, because it's got to be a 10x ROI is what people look for. Maybe it's less. Maybe they're actually raising more. I'm going to say that they're raising somewhere between 500 million and $1 billion. They can't raise $1 billion. I've never heard of a company raising $1 billion. So I'm going to say it's got to be, if you're getting a 5 billion valuation, if that's really what the valuation is going to be, then they're probably getting $400 to $500 million of financing, which is out of this world crazy. We're not going to cover what they do. Firm's collection of cartoon primates. We all know what they do. So here's the quote from them: "We want to build something that expands the universe of the BAYC, but also invites a larger NFT community and those priced out of BAYC membership to join." So you guys might have also heard that earlier, like was it last week? They bought Meebits and CryptoPunks from Larva Labs, which is also a huge deal. They basically now own like almost all of the top properties inside of the NFT, the current hot properties inside of the NFT space, right? In terms of like historic value, I mean, Larva Labs is a historic place. So here's what's interesting. I'm not going to go through this whole thing because they're going to be, they're talking about land sales. They're talking about meta RPG. They want to basically create their own. It sounds like they want to create their own universe similar to Sandbox, and who wouldn't? Because every time Sandbox launches a land sale, it sells out in 3 seconds. It's pretty crazy. So, but here's the deal. I want to show you guys something you may not have seen. I actually have so if you notice back here in the beginning of the article, it talks about a pitch deck obtained by the block, outlines projections for futures for the sales. You guys want to see some snapshots of the pitch deck? You guys want to see some of the hidden stuff, like what the block was looking at? And then I'll tell you the reaction to this, because it's been really dramatic. It's been impressive to watch. So just give me 1 second here. I'm going to share this other screen. So this is what everybody started freaking out about. And this was yesterday. So yesterday, this hit the wire. So what this is I'm guessing this is South by Southwest. Somebody started sharing the pitch deck from Bored Ape Yacht Club, and someone else took pictures, and all of a sudden they posted it, right? So yeah, Carrot says somebody's going to get a spanking if they sign an NDA and leak that. Yeah, for sure. It's not exactly a good thing. But again, as we go through what has transpired here, it's made me respect the founding team of Bored Ape Yacht Club in a different level, because a lot of this shit is luck. Like, let's be real. Like, there is no one who could have predicted, let alone the founders could have predicted, that Bored Ape Yacht Club launch would turn into what it is today. It hasn't been 12 months yet. It's just those guys must be swimming. Their heads must not even be on planet Earth right now. Not in an ego wise, just like with all the stuff that is happening and all the attention and all the people calling and people throwing deals at them. It's probably unbearable, to be honest with you. Like, I feel for them, and like, they've been very, very smart, and they have a very cool head on their shoulders for what's been going on. So it says using ApeCoin will unify the currency between reality and real gameplay. And then we switch here. I'm going to see if I can blow this up. Now this is blurry. I wish I could make it a little less blurry, but it's just going to be, it's off of a phone and all this kind of stuff. And so I'm going to move this over, and I'm just going to look over here and kind of read it for you guys. It says, it talks about in March, it's talking about an ape token and metaverse 1 to 100,000 land sale. Now, what's interesting is this fine text here is what they expect to make. So I got to scroll over here because I got another monitor. It says projected net revenue from primary sales is 178.2 million. Projected net revenue from secondary sales is 10.9 million. So based off of the ape token and the metaverse land sale drop, they're expecting to make about $188 million from the combined front and back, which is pretty crazy. Now, again, as the article stated, this is from last year, or it was updated. Sorry, it was updated in February. So it's already last updated in February. So, things change. So obviously January, I don't think we had I guess, did we have the BAYC App Store game? I think we did, actually. I actually didn't do that one. So, and then in May, we've got airdrop and codas as mintable NFTs, creating secondary sales. Projected net revenue from secondary sales is 2.3 million plus treasure hunt, whatever that's going to be. That's a cool name. Nice way to bring in cold wallet storage. And that's probably a partnership with Trezor, right? They're going to start doing sponsorships, man. Ape Fest, including merch in June. August, the trial of Jimmy the Monkey. plus metaverse, another metaverse land sale. Projected revenue from the primary, from the land sale, is $178.2 million. Projected net revenue from the secondary is $8.5 million. So about the same as the first primary, the first metaverse drop. So that's 200,000 pieces, like land pieces for sale, I assume. In September, we've got the BAYC Mecha Dog drop, whatever that's going to be. Monetization plan for BAYC, or BAYC, sorry, for Bored Ape Kennel Club. Projected net revenue is $16 million for 2022, plus Ultimate Mecha Ape, which sounds badass. Projected net revenue, $50 million for 2022. And then October, Mecha Dog versus Mecha Monkey Invasion. Invasion play to earn. I think it says Invasion. Yeah, Invasion play to earn. Blockchain game. Monetization plan for BAYC. So that's how they're going to monetize BAYC, I assume. Merch drop in December. And then throughout the year, there'll be secondary initial NFT sales, percentage of ape token, merch drops, and collabs. And that is, again, this is a deck pitched to venture capitalists, right? So VCs, so that they can see how much revenue is projected to come in based on sales, which is something that most startups don't even have. So these are all real numbers. Like, these are not made up numbers. Melissa says I need to get closer to the mic. Yeah, I know. I had to lean over. Sorry about that, guys. If you need me to repeat any of that, I totally will. It's just I got multiple screens going on right now. So that is pretty bananas. So this is what leaked. And I'll show you some other things here. So another screen, the Meta RPG will be made up of 200,000 land plots total, all launched throughout Animoca. Genesis drop will be 100,000 plots. 30% of that will go to BAYC Macy, leaving 70,000 for public sale, and then another 100K in a follow-up drop. The conservative estimate for the land price is 1 ETH each. So they're thinking about selling each plot for 1 ETH. So that's 200 million in primary sales for the Genesis drop alone. My gut tells me they're going to change that. You know, it could probably sell for that, but I think my gut tells me that that's not an accurate number. If they really want more people to come in, they're going to have to drop that price. The initial land sale will include teases to future paired NFTs, such as in-game characters, resources, artifacts, and more. Once minted and paired NFTs, token holders will be able to trade and sell these as well, which would trigger secondary sales for token beyond primary land. Let's see. Carrot says, I can't afford any of this ape stuff, but glad for those who are in on it. It's like listening to people discuss their supercars collection at this point. It is, but you know, the interesting thing is again, nobody could have predicted it. They just did a really good job of building community and having the community help in the creation of it. Like, they proved whether they succeed or fail is irrelevant. They've already succeeded in that they've proved that a model for community generated content and distribution is possible. It's already happened, right? I mean, there's so many ape holders who have created their own projects, including myself, right? That are spawning their own universes because they have the ability to do so, right? Because they've been given the rights to that character. Now, granted, if Bored Ape hadn't done that, I would have used another character. But because they were smart and said, yeah, you go ahead and you own it, it instantly allowed their characters to kind of go everywhere. And now owners are licensing those characters to go everywhere. And just because you're not a member of BAYC or Macy or whatever, doesn't mean you're not going to hit that. Do you know what I mean? Adult fantasy is the same thing, right? Like, we're in grind build mode. Like, you have time. I know there's kind of a joke on there that's like, oh, we're still early. You're early, but no, we really are early. The businesses that are going to be here are going to be here for a long time. And, you know, it's like, there's a reason why, so few people held on to, DC Comics. Well, what was it? Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man #1, or Batman's first appearance, right? It's because they could have never known that those characters would have turned into those characters. Nobody could have predicted that Superman would still be around in 2022, right? So people just disposed of the comics, right? But we've proven, like history proves, that if you just stick to something and you hang in there and you support it, and that support grows over time, success is almost inevitable, really. Especially if you're diversifying in the types of characters and products that you're launching. So the reason I say, Carrots, look at this and understand that this is coming your way too. It's coming your way too. And whatever you're collecting, there are projects that are going to do maybe not this big or maybe bigger. Who knows? Um, but the come up is coming. You're early, and not to toot my own horn, but adult fantasy is, we've dedicated our lives to making this thing the most valuable NFT on the market, and I think we have a pretty good shot at it, to be honest with you. Can we flip BAYC? It might take a while, but we're going to be here for a long time. So it's going to be absolutely worth it. And the truth is we're not trying to go after these other NFTs. We're trying to flip Marvel. You know what I mean? And I think we can do it because they don't know what they're doing anymore. What else we have? So yeah, here are two other screenshots that I thought were interesting. We'll also encourage trading and bartering, and can introduce soft currency to allow for more accessible spending. ApeCoin will be the currency of our metaverse, one unifying coin with which to power our app store like marketplace. So they are really thinking big. They're thinking economies of scale, where they'll have a metaverse, they'll have these tokens. You'll be able to barter, sell, trade, buy, create your own apps. If they're creating an app store like marketplace, then that means developers will be able to create their own properties, push it in there, and sell it, and using the ApeCoin as a currency. The closest thing that I can think of is maybe either Sandbox or what I've seen of Guild of Guardians, right? Where it's just an entire deep world, which also makes me think. It also makes me wonder if they're going to drop nodes, right? Guild of Guardians dropped player nodes. I wish I owned one. I was chasing one for a while, and now they're like way up there. I think they're like $100 grand or something to buy. So not gonna do that. But yeah, the idea is there. So this dropped yesterday, and everyone kind of went crazy. Everyone started writing articles like The Block, like, we've got this secret document. And of course, take that, The Block. I got it too. So here's what happened next. I'm going to start sharing. Let's get back to the main screen. So people started writing about it, and they started really looking at the metrics. And this is where things get interesting. So land predictions: land does not sell out. 200,000 plots is significant oversaturation. So this is kind of a negative view. Gaming normies will not onboard en masse to a new Web3 first unfamiliar game built on ape land. Changed my mind. So you can start to see, like, people have their own opinions. It's possible that 200,000 plots would not sell out, especially if they sell it for 1 ETH each. That's not cheap. But then you look at the Sandbox, and you look at MetaHero, right? MetaHero sold 33,000 planets. They didn't sell out either, but I don't think they need to. You just sell as much as you can, and you burn the rest, or you donate the rest, or you give the rest as giveaways, and you scale up. The interesting thing is that yesterday, the reason I'm showing you this tweet is because yesterday, Garga from Bored Ape posted, "That's an old, outdated pitch deck, and hilariously a version that neither Gordon nor I ever saw. There are a lot of things in there that have already changed, and plenty more things that will change because fuck doing expected things." I absolutely love that quote. I feel like that should be a t-shirt. Fuck doing expected things. Like, that's awesome. And so this was yesterday. People were like, yeah, it's like, fuck doing expected things. And then today they drop this. They drop, here we go, ApeCoin. So their pitch deck gets leaked yesterday. Yeah, sure, it's outdated. It is probably true that they never saw that version because, like, you do multiple when you're drafting these things, you do multiple versions of these things. So this is why I got to give these guys respect, because their pitch deck leaks the day before, which means all your plans are kind of fucked, right? Because yeah, there's things in there that are wrong, but it's a pitch deck, which means most of it is correct. A lot of it is correct. And but they also understood that they captured the hype. People just went boom, and everybody was talking about it, like, oh my god, I can't believe it. Oh. And so out of nowhere, just a few hours ago, like 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, they go, oh yeah, ApeCoin's going to drop tomorrow, fuck it. That's amazing. That's absolutely badass. I bow to that, because that is some serious balls. They may have had it ready. They certainly didn't have it planned to drop today or tomorrow, I guess. So check this out. Here we go. Introducing ApeCoin, as a token for culture, gaming, and commerce, used to empower a decentralized community building at the forefront of Web3. ApeCoin is now a reality, and it's owned and operated by the community, aka ApeCoin DAO. Holding ApeCoin is the only requirement for membership in the DAO. So if you don't have any of these characters, if you don't own a Bored Ape or a Mutant Ape, it doesn't matter. You're going to be able to own the coin, and you'll actually be able to own a piece of the DAO. ApeCoin DAO is supported by Ape Foundation and will empower the community to build blockchain games and services, host events in the metaverse or IRL, and create digital and physical products, along with anything else you can dream up. This is why we're adopting ApeCoin as the official currency of the BAYC ecosystem. It's also why we're gifting ApeCoin DAO a one-of-one NFT featuring a blue version of the BAYC logo. This NFT transfers full IP rights of the derivative logo to the ApeCoin DAO, who will decide how the IP should be used. 62% of the total supply of ApeCoin is allocated to the ApeCoin community, a portion of which, 15% of the total supply, will be available to claim starting tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. The airdrop claim, consisting of 15% of the total supply of ApeCoin, will be made available to Bored Ape BAYC NFT holders, Bored Apes, Mutant Apes, as well as Bored Ape Kennel Club dogs, paired with either Bored Ape Yacht Club characters or Macy. For everyone else who wants to ape in, ApeCoin will be available to all and is expected to begin trading on major crypto exchanges soon. So this drops tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. So by the time I've edited this video and posted it, this will already be live. That's insane. They announced it at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. They launch it at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. I believe it's going to be a.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be a huge day tomorrow. So if you haven't seen this video or you're not on the call right now, or you're not live, tomorrow is going to be a bananas day, man. Twitter, I would stay tuned to Twitter, because I think you're going to see a tremendous amount of activity, and people are going to blow up. And we'll talk about what that means for you as well in just a minute. They also launched the apecoin.com website. I have not had a chance to go through all this. It is pretty deep. It's actually really thick. This is what happens when they have a really deep team now. They were able to leverage their primary sales and their secondary sales to get on board like some incredibly good developers and a good legal team and investors and other founders. So some of their advisors now are from really well-known startups. So I'm not going to read all of this. You can read it at your leisure. Big key, though, is Alex Ohanian from Reddit, Amy Wu from who's the head of ventures and gaming at FTX, Maria Bajwa, for principal at Sound Ventures, Yatsu, from co-founder and chairman of Animoca, and Dean Steinbeck, president and general counsel at Horizon Labs. So this is a really good team. I'm familiar with a few of these people, not all of them, but yeah, very, very strong. And that's another thing to take note of, is like a lot of times when you're building a company, when you're building a business like this, all of this detail and information doesn't necessarily come from the founders, right? Like figuring out the math behind this and figuring out exactly how to set all this up takes specialties, right? Like just like creating an art piece is a specialty, creating a DAO is a specialty, getting a right legal team is a specialty, a lawyer is a specialty. So a lot of this stuff comes from uh, uh, being able to have enough success to then go after some of the right people. So I find that fascinating. It's a really interesting model because remember, these are just a couple dudes from Miami, right? Like, I mean, smart kids, but this is not their language. This is their team's language for sure. So now let's get into the nitty gritty, because some people did read all this crap and they started talking about what that means. So OSF, you can follow them at OSF_NFT. ApeCoin explained, how much money are you going to get? So this is also really, really interesting. And now there's a caveat here, and that this is complete and total speculation, right? This is not even do your own research. This is like, well, this is what we think based on what we saw. Here's some math. Here's some numbers. Maybe it could be this. We don't know. So total supply of tokens will be 1 billion, broken down as below. With the ecosystem fund, 150 million, all unlocked for claim at launch. Tokens go to BAYC Macy holders, all unlocked for claim at launch, and 470 million to DAO Treasury and resources. So here's the clip. He cut it out. He kind of figured it out. That's basically what was in his post. So only 15% of the total supply is actually going to BAYC Macy NFT holders by my read. This is the amount you will get per NFT. So this is really interesting. Bored Ape only, you get 10,094 tokens. Mutant Ape only, you get 2,042 tokens. Bored Ape and a Kennel Club, where the token IDs do not need to match, meaning it doesn't have to be the Kennel Club dog that you had with that Bored Ape. You get 10,950 tokens, and then Mutant Ape and Kennel Club is 2,898 tokens. Again, math, like why 2,898, not 2,890 or 2,800, 2,900, right? Two more. Don't know math. I'm curious to know if it's like this must be per Bored Ape. So I know some of these guys have like 20, 30 apes still in their pocket, so they're going to be looking at 200,000 or 300,000 tokens, I'm assuming, plus whatever they have for those mutants that they had for it if they held everything. So that's a crazy amount. That's insane. But let's find out what that means. So what does that mean? 10,000 tokens or what have you? So how much money will you get? Again, caveat, this is not real numbers. These are wild guesses. How much money will you get? Well, I think we have to look at fully diluted market cap based on 1 billion supply, some metaverse comparables. So Sandbox is 9.3 billion. From Decentraland is 5.3 billion. If we took 5 billion as an estimate, so below Decentraland, it would imply that each ape token would be at $5 to start, meaning each token would be $5. You'd be able to buy for $5 a token. So at $5, you would get $50,470 per ape and $10,210 per mutant. And then he made a matrix because people are nuts. So this would be the estimate in cash that you would get if you had the combo. Now, I don't totally understand. I'm guessing these don't double up. So if you had a Bored Ape Yacht Club piece and a Bored Ape Kennel Club piece and a Macy, right? I don't know. You would probably get the Macy down here. I don't know how it would stack, right? Like which, I guess it would be BAYC and a Bored Ape Kennel Club and a Mutant Ape, right? You wouldn't get all four of these. So I'm not totally sure how it's going to work out. But regardless, they're daydreaming at 5 billion. Do I think it could do it? Yeah, I do actually. I don't think it's that far off, at least on the first day. Do I think it'll pull back? Of course it will. Usually the way these things work is the first day, maybe the first 2 or 3 days, it's going to be wild, man. I mean, I already know professional traders that are going to be riding this up. It's going to hit like $7 and they're going to cash out. And then it's going to come back down to $3 and they're going to put it all back in. It's going to go back up to $5 and they're going to cash out. You're just going to ride that wave and stack cash. OSF says, I don't think 5 billion is unreasonable, to be honest, given the hype this thing is going to get on launch. Plus, we know there's a lot more coming. Don't forget the land airdrops and the Coda airdrops from yesterday's leak slides that you guys just saw. Tough not to be extremely bullish. Um, uh, yeah. So that's a pretty interesting drop, man. That's a pretty interesting valuation. I don't know, you know, it's so easy to buy into the hype of things. I try not to do that because you just don't know. Do I think it's going to be really hot tomorrow? Yes. Do I think it could collapse in 2 days? Of course. Let's see what you guys are saying. So Dusty says, "Wow, wild stuff." It's crazy, right? This is what happened. This is, sometimes projects in new spaces just suck up all the energy in the room. And it's really interesting because it's also not necessarily, it's not long term, right? We don't know what's going to happen. Maybe Bored Ape becomes the next Disney or the next huge franchise, and it's around for 30 years, or maybe it blows up. I have been, one of the things that I have learned from doing startups now for, geez, 12, no, officially 12 to 14 years straight. Like, it has always surprised me. I've seen so many hot startups that I just loved, where they were just had all the press, they had all the money, they had the best teams, the best investors, like just 100% of everything. And 3 years go by or 5 years go by and it just disappears. It's just gone. And nobody, and literally nobody remembers. It's uncanny. Like the hottest thing you ever saw. And then 2 years later, you're like, "Hey, do you remember this? Just curious. Did you ever hear about this company?" They're like, "Yeah, maybe. No, not really." And it blows my mind. It just shows you how quickly things change. Not saying that that's the case with Bored Ape. I'm just saying that we really, you have to take things with a grain of salt. Carrot says 40% of the tokens goes to Yuga launch contributors, BAYC founders. Yeah, pretty crazy. Yeah, I think they're. I mean, that's one. That's the investors, right? It's one. I think one of the challenges with DAOs is that you have this. You're creating this governance system where the people who the buyers should be controllers, right? The people that own the NFTs or are inside of the ecosystem, depending on the type of DAO, and supporting the DAO are supposed to run it and govern it. But the minute you go get outside funding, that investment firm can put in $100 million and buy up 50% of the supply, or 40% of the supply, or 20% of the 10% of the supply. Any large amount that of tokens that they purchase means they have control of the DAO. It doesn't matter what you vote, right? Or at least there's a potential for that, right? Where if you think your vote's going to count against someone that owns 100 million shares in something, forget it. It's going to be. I think there's going to be a lot of DAOs and a lot of people. There's going to be, Bored Ape has a lot of eyes on it. PFP projects are looking at Bored Ape, obviously. Games are looking at Bored Ape. Venture firms are looking at Bored Ape for how other venture firms are going into Bored Ape. DAOs are going to be looking at Bored Ape for how they set up their DAO. So this is a really big, it's a cultural moment for the space. So beyond this, Binance announced that they're going to be listing ApeCoin tomorrow. So that's going to be tomorrow morning. Deposits open. I haven't even seen this. Deposits open March 17th at 5:30 a.m. Pacific time. So yeah, so 8:30 Eastern time. Trading opens. Look at this. Think how crazy this is, where they're actually giving you the exact time trading starts because they know it's going to be big. Trading opens on ApeUSD or Tether pairs tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. So the deposits open and the trading begins later in the day. So it's absolutely crazy. And I just want to push how this relates to you guys. I saw this and I thought of you guys, and really everybody in the space, because I do think that this could possibly trigger a bull run this week. I don't have the tweet, but somebody else said that they've already seen over 30 Kennel Club, Bored Ape Kennel Club NFTs get swept up because everybody is now like wanting to get the combos, right? Oh, they need to get the Kennel Club character to get all the other stuff. So I do think it's probably going to trigger, or it has the potential to trigger a bull run for other projects. So if you have a project or you have some NFTs and you've been looking to sell, uh, then this could very easily start a bull run. People get excited once they start buying stuff and they think they think they have money now, right? If it's true and the token is valued at 5 billion and people have 50,000, 60,000, 100,000, some of these people might have $500,000 or $1 million in their bank tomorrow or in their account tomorrow because of this. If they're flush with cash and that thing goes up, they're going to sell and put it into other things, right? So if you have something that you're looking to sell from your wallet or from your vault, you may want to think about it tomorrow. Pretty crazy stuff, right? So that is the secret of Bored Ape Yacht Club. And so we're going to continue this story tomorrow for sure, because it'll be really interesting to see what happens. So stay tuned for more on that.